get? What was that? Did anyone get life?
I'm not sure.
Right. The highest was 13 years. She knows what she's talking about. He was facing life, but he could have copped out to 15 or maybe a little more. So that's probably more closer to the truth. No one got life.
Well, hold on, but you're only talking about the Fred Weiss murder. You have to remember that Mikey Scars was also under a huge RICO indictment.
Yeah, for what?
For the shakedown of scores and those strip clubs down in Atlanta.
Yeah, the Atlanta thing, you're not gonna get life for that, though. He beat the Atlanta thing. He beat that. He beat the Gold Club.
Yeah, I know, but they're going to use that in the other RICO case when they have him shaking down scores.
Right, but in my estimation, he wasn't going to get life.
Yeah, well, the predicates is not murder. You're not going to get life.
You're going to get 20 years minimum on a RICO.
He was a minor player in that murder. Joe Watts had probably more complicit. How many bodies did Joe Watts have? They gave him 13 years. They didn't get Joe Watts on any murders, but they could always bring it up in trial, and the judge will take that into consideration. They always do that shit. They give you more time. I think he would have got 15 years. She knows what she's talking about, that chick, Tony Marie Fapiano. Now, she knows.
Yeah, I mean, you can look. But here's the thing: you can look at it in hindsight and say, "Oh yeah, look at the guys that copped out after him." You can sit down there and look at it in hindsight and say, "Yeah, look at the guys that copped out after him. They got 12 years, 15 years, 20 years. He would have only got such and such." Well, those guys didn't go to trial; they got plea deals. If they didn't want to give Mikey Scars a plea deal and they wanted to send him to trial, you could have got life for it. The government doesn't give everybody deals.
He would have got a deal. Most definitely he would have got a deal. It would have been risky bringing him to trial. He already beat them a couple of years ago. They would have loved to give him 15 years, and then they'll build more cases after that while he's in prison, and they'll try to keep him in there for life that way. They're just worried about getting those convictions. You can play Monday morning quarterback. They're worried about getting those convictions up. They really don't want to go to trial.
No, I mean, I agree with you on that.
No, I'm not playing Monday morning quarterback. I'm just agreeing what his ex-wife said, that he wasn't facing a lot of time. I agree with that. That's the truth of the matter. Yeah. He wasn't. Everybody's facing life when they get, Tekashi 6ix9ine was facing 700 years, okay? And what happened? He ratted and did a year. So, I mean, it's all bullshit.
No, I know, but here, let's play devil's advocate here. I get you on a RICO indictment for a new shakedown of a scores case and 2 predicate felons, and you're facing 20 years minimum. If you go to trial, you could get 30 or 40, right? And then while you're in the middle of doing this RICO case, we hit you with a murder, the Fred Weiss murder, and maybe you did another murder or 2 down the road that they might find out when 2 or 3 of the other guys get pulled in on that murder and they decide to flip. And now you're looking at 2-3 life sentences possibly. You see what I'm saying here?
Okay, yeah, I understand what you're saying. But if anybody knows who Michael Scars was, he wasn't a trigger man, okay? He wasn't that guy, okay? He might have been complicit. He might have been complicit in it, but I'm telling you, he would have got 15 years, tops. Joe Watts is a mad dog killer, and they gave him 13. And they know they had Joe Watts for that kid, Taconi, that they killed on New Dorp Lane over here. They killed him. They found the kid in the freaking basement. They knew Joe Watts did that.
Yeah, but I don't think the Fred Weiss murder was the only murder that Mikey Scars was under indictment for. I think he had another one he did originally when he got made, that he did for the family, because he did an interview with this
Trevor McDonald,
Gary Jenkins or something like that. Oh. Yeah, well, he did one with Trevor McDonald, but he did one like a year or so ago with this agent or something like that. With Gary Jenkins.
He's a Kansas City cop.
Yeah.
And
between me and you, what is Michael Scars gonna say? Yeah, I was facing 8 years. That's why I cooperated. No, they took my money. They screwed my wife. They did this. They did that. That's why I turned. So you gotta put that into perspective too. We're dealing with a guy. He is not truthful, okay? Half of these guys bullshit. Could he come on and tell that dude, you know what? Yeah, I was going to get 12 years, and you fucking flipped for 12 years? No. They had him on life. They had this. It's going to be so much shit. You can't believe a word they say, man. Seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, because he complained about he wasn't getting no money, and he had a family. I'm not dead over here yet. That's what he said. You know
exactly.
What I mean? Yeah.
Right.
Good point.
They shelved him. They shelved him because they thought he was stealing. That's what it was. Yeah, they took away his rights. They stripped him of his title, and he wasn't making any money.
Right.
I'm just saying, if anybody would know, it'd be Tony Marie Fabiano, because she was, Well,
they were actually going to kill Joe Watts over that same construction beef that he wound up taking over down the road.
Yeah, if you look at most cases, everybody's facing life, but you got to really kill motherfuckers in the mob to get life. You know what I mean? Because normally, if you're like part of it, you're complicit and you could get some big time, but come on. Vito Guzzo got 30 years for 6 murders. Exactly. Right. You know how fucking treacherous that guy was? He took a plea for 38 years for 6 murders.
Yeah, Vito Guzzo was
Mikey Stars was going to get life? No, he wasn't going to get. They would have never went to trial because they were worried. He already beat him already. And they were worried. They don't want to lose, man. They just want that conviction rate up. They love when you take the plea.
Yep. Exactly.
Well, I mean, it depends on where you live, but anything over 20 years is technically considered life. You know that, right?
But not for a 40-year-old guy. He was 40. How old was he? 54?
Yeah, considered a life sentence. Considered a life sentence. I think it's 25 years, ain't it? State prison is 25 years. Considered a life sentence out here in California.
Yeah.
That's a long time, man. Anything can happen.
Yeah, but I don't even think he was 40 at the time. I think he was more like mid-30s, wasn't he?
He was probably closer to 40. Yeah, 45 maybe. He wasn't 50 yet.
Right now, how old is he right now? About 58?
Nah, he's about 40. He's in his mid-60s, believe it or not.
Yeah,
I think he was born in 1954. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So 56.
Yeah. He was like 50 when he got indicted around then. So you're telling the guy, possibly 20, 25 years. That's a fucking life sentence.
That I agree with. You could go to jail for 1 year and die. It could be a life sentence. But what I'm saying is he wasn't going to get like life where he's never getting out again. Like he would have had light at the end of the tunnel. If he could stay alive, he would have had light at the end of the tunnel. And
there wasn't like a lot of guys were flipping on him, right? As far as I know.
Exactly. So but
some people ain't made to there's some guys out here in California that are part of organizations that are hardcore organizations, and they flipped, and people are shocked, you know what I mean, because of what they've done. But
people are not built the same. That's the problem,
Yeah.
Then there's some people that deserve to be in jail, but yet they're men and they take 10, 15 years. You know what I mean? And they really didn't have a choice in the matter because it's like risk rolling the dice by going to trial, and then they hit you with 30 years. So
they triple, quadruple it up when you lose in trial. Yeah,
exactly. Yep.
So what do you guys think about the information that Gambino released on his podcast there about Joe Watts being an informant, which was also spoken about? I think it was on Gangland News maybe a few years ago. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Well, my thought is he hates Joe Watts, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my thoughts on it. So look at where it's coming from. Was Joe Watts?
But
I'll put it to you this way. Joe Watts is out right now, okay?
Yeah, I see.
He's out. Yeah, I guarantee you, I will guarantee you, okay, that ain't nobody rolling up on him like Alpo. Okay, and putting 5 in his hat. That ain't happening. Okay, I don't know about who's a rat or who's not, but that dude is a battle-tested dude. And I respect him. Now, it's
He's also 80.
And he'll be back on Staten Island. So I don't know what his status is as far as getting back involved, but
trust me. Suitcase is having problems hearing us, I guess. You hear us, Tom? Yeah,
you're on mute.
This is the best when we can't. Yeah, I love this. We got to do more of this.
Yeah, Tom, you're on mute, buddy. Somebody tell him in the chat.